The bell ringer is set to try to work on some of your skills here. They give you a formula, 1/2 BH. Find the area of a triangle with base of 10 and height of 4. Anytime you have a formula, try to identify words that are similar to what you're looking for. So B to me would mean base, and H in this case would mean height, which means I don't need to write the A equals, but I will, but 1/2, parentheses, your base is 10, so we put parentheses 10, parentheses 4, all these being multiplied. Now here's the thing about when you multiply multiple numbers in a row. You can do it in any order you want, which means I can do the 10 times 4 first, which means it ends up as 1/2 times 40, and we understand that 1/2 of 40 means 40 divided by 2, which would be 20. So that's something that we saw in class. Another type of question that you might see, is the one where it gives you 2 different columns. And pretty much in this problem, you have to work through both of them and determine what's true. Either A is bigger, B is bigger, the numbers are equal, or it can't be determined. Coefficient of the term 15x. So what you do in this problem is you work out both of them. Coefficient of 15x. Remember that coefficient is a number attached to x. That number is 15. Column B, which is this problem, which is order of operations. So it's going to be 10 minus 6 first, which is 4 squared. And we know that 4 squared is 16. So in that case, column B is bigger, so you would circle B or choose B, and that would be your answer. In terms of the work, this chapter we're going to be looking at the process of solving. Solving is the opposite of what you normally do in math. Typically what we do is evaluate, which means find the value of, and you know that because there's the word value in it. So find the value of is usually what we do, but we're going to actually solve. So looking at these 2 examples, it'll help you kind of understand the general idea of what we're about to do. Usually what you saw was 4 plus 3 equals what? And what we're going to be doing is moving this question mark over here where it'll say what plus 3 equals 7, or something along those lines. Not exactly like that, but like I said, just an idea along those lines. So notice that the solving example forces us to think backwards, and because of this, we'll use the backwards operation from what we see. Give me 1 second. Officially, we call this the inverse operation. So the inverse operation of addition is subtraction. So those 2 are opposites from what they are. They're 2 different things. And another difference in true solving that we're going to be doing here is that we'll use variables to represent the question mark, because you can't just put a bunch of question marks there. So as a result, instead of being question mark plus 3 equals 7, you'll see it as x plus 3 equals 7, which means I want to find the value of x. Now I know before we were plugging in for the value of x, but variables have 2 different purposes. One is I can give you a value and have you plug it in. The other one is I can say I don't know what it is and I want you to find it or solve to find out what that value of x is. Outside of that, the solving process is actually pretty simple. But before we get to that, I have a big warning for you. Next 6 weeks of lessons is pretty much built on what we're doing today, actually more than 6. But choosing to take shortcuts or choosing not to do what we're doing to try to work for understanding could destroy your semester grade, mainly because everything's going to build on this. So if at any point you decide you just don't want to do it and you decide to quit for about 3 or 4 days, that will probably cost you 4 to 5 weeks or more of points and frustration. So because we're beginning the process, it's mandatory that you show the work exactly like it's being taught. Whatever method you think feels better to you right now will potentially cause your organization to fall apart 2 weeks from now. And I will say that it is definitely going to make you fall apart. Not potentially, it's going to make you fall apart weeks from now, because we're starting out easy and then the problems get more and more difficult, more and more complex. So make sure you're practicing exactly what we're doing so that you practice it that way, and then it becomes natural, and then as we move forward it becomes easier to do. Apologies for all the warnings, but again, doing this for years that we've been doing it, students who choose to do their things that way are lost in about 3 weeks. I mean, so much that they can't even do a problem on the board because they have no clue what's going on. So outside of that, solving addition and subtraction problems is our focus today and tomorrow. The goal in that is to get the variable by itself. You need to ask yourself 2 key questions, which is what side is the variable on, and what number needs to be moved. So what I do in class now is I would pass out a sheet of paper, which I'm just going to go ahead and put this, the actual paper in front of me, and we'll work through it. But outside of that, really nothing else going on. So just make sure, again, as you're copying this, that you think through it, that you understand why we are doing what we are doing. All right, so again, this is a note guide I passed out in class. You might want to write these down for yourself at home just so you have the notes, and also so you can practice actually doing the process the right way. So on number 1, x plus 15 equals 39. The first thing we want to remember is that solving means I want to figure out what x is, so I need to get x alone. So I need to figure out what side x is on, which is on the left side, and the number that's with x, which is a plus 15, needs to be moved. If you want to move plus 15, we use the inverse of plus 15, which is minus 15. But we have to do that on both sides. And it might even help if you draw a line like a wall to help you separate the left side from the right side. I know a lot of people who do that find comfort in it. You then draw the line to separate because we're going to simplify. We bring down the x. The 15s go away because 15 minus 15 is 0. And then 39 minus 15 we can do here. 9 minus 5 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. And therefore x equals 24. All right, so all we did was we took that number that we wanted to move, use its inverse operation to both sides, cancel it out over here, figure out what's left over here, and that is all. All right, and if you look at it, 24 plus 15, I'm not going to check all of them. 4 plus 5, 9, 2 plus 1, 3, and look at that, it matches what we were looking for in the first place. So in order to do it, we use the opposite operation. So looking at number 2, we had x minus 23 equals 46. Well, again, first off, the variable's on the left, and we need to move the minus 23. And the way we move a minus 23 is with a plus 23. So again, we do that. And then if we put a plus 23 over there, the way we keep things balanced is we have to put a plus 23 over there. The x comes down. The 23's cancel. 46 plus 23, again, 6 plus 3, 9. 4 plus 2, 6. And there is our answer. All right. Everything won't be with the x on the left. In this case here, x is on the right, and the number that needs to be moved is the 23, not the 75, because again, if you draw your wall, that's why it helps people to draw the wall. This 23 is over here with x. The 75 is not, x can't even see the 75, it doesn't even exist. So again, the number that needs to move in this case is the plus 23. The way we move that is by putting minus 23 and minus 23. Here, 5 minus 3, 2, 7 minus 2, 5. X comes down, these two things cancel, and that is all. Next one, 64 equals x minus 17. Well, once again, if you draw your wall so you can see, x is on the right, minus 17 needs to move, and the way we move a minus 17 is with a plus 17. It's just the opposite. 4 plus 7, 11, 6, 7, 8. Bring down your x, 17's cancel. That is my answer. X is 81. Again, 81 minus 17 is 64. So we're doing this without having to guess and check, because guess and check is going to take a long time in a lot of situations. Number 5, x plus 36 equals 83. Again, we're going to look at that and recognize we need to move the 36. And the way we move that plus 36 is by subtracting 36. X comes down. 36 is cancel. Can't do 3 minus 6, so we borrow, making this 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. 47 is your answer. And now I hope you see why we were working on our long addition, long subtraction stuff. 28 equals x plus 7. Once again, if this is the wall, the 7 needs to go. The way we move that 7 is by using its inverse operation, which is, or inverse amount, which is negative 7. 28 minus 7 is 21. X comes down, 7's go away. And that is all. 34 equals x minus 11. Well, again, find the number that find your variable, find the number that's with it that needs to go. We move this by adding 11, and by adding 11, 34 plus 11 is 45. Your 11s cancel, and that is it. 45 minus 11 would be 34. And then the last one on our notes before you get to the work, x minus 45 equals 31. X is here. This has to go. It's a minus 45, so we move it with a plus 45. That goes away. X comes down. 5 and 1, 6. 3 and 4, 7. That is the answer that we're looking for. So just be sure to actually, again, practice this the way it's supposed to be so you don't get lost on it. It is going to build on this every single day, so make sure, again, you practice the way you're supposed to. Send an email if you have a question on anything, but outside of that, again, make sure you're disciplined, because keeping with us will make an easy 6 weeks. Not keeping with us means you're going to be lost in about about 2 weeks, you won't even be able to do most of the stuff that we're going to be doing. So good luck.